Hello, you're watching Campus France Live. Thanks a lot to be there with us. Today we're going to talk about higher education in France and to discover a group of higher education, Excelia, with different schools and multiple programs. To talk about the school, I'm very pleased to welcome you, Myriam BENABID. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Thanks a lot to be there with us. You're the Director of Development Operations. We're also with Agung SYAHPUTRA. Hello.
Yeah, hi, thank you for having me.
International Academic Advisor. And we are with Nicolas Budi Santoso. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
You're a student in the Master in Management. If you have questions about the schools of Excelia or the different way to join the programs, you can keep on asking them on the different chat sections. Let's start with you, Myriam. Can you introduce Excelia in a few words?
Yes, of course. First and foremost, Excelia is 35 years old now and encompassed by 3 schools: Excelia Business School, our flagship, and 2 vocational schools, Excelia Tourism School and Excelia Digital Communication Schools. We are a triple crown business school among the top 1% of the best business school in the world, and we are obviously endorsed by the Ministry of Higher Education in France. We have exceeded the number of 6,000 students and 44,000 alumni. We are in 4 cities: La Rochelle, Paris, the French capital, Tours et Orléans. And all of the community Excelia share 5 core values represented by a lighthouse in French, un phare. P for partage, sharing, humanism, A for audace, courage or daring, R for responsibility, et engagement, commitment.
Thanks a lot for this presentation. We're going today to make a strong focus on the Parisian campus, because you said there is 4 different locations. Let's begin by a quick video to discover the Parisian campus. We will be back just after that.
Qui va vous permettre
parler de finances d'entreprise, notamment avec le contrôle de gestion dans les organisations.
J'aimerais bien partir sur un sujet autour de la finance durable.
Dans les recommandations, vous avez trouvé quoi? J'ai trouvé un truc qui serait sympa, ce serait vraiment d'inciter les salariés.
La boulangerie tarentaise, c'est 28. Organise et planifie, établit le budget.
C'est entre le Maroc et l'île Maurice pour l'instant.
So it's a really brand new campus and a really beautiful campus to study in. Myriam, in what languages are the different courses taught?
All of the courses are taught in English. However, you can discover new languages such as Spanish, German, Japanese, Arabic, and so on.
And let's talk a bit about the different programs that you offer in the Parisian campus. You have a different program for a bachelor, for a master. Can you describe a little bit these programs?
Yes, we can. We offer double degrees, Master in Management and Master of Science in English in 5 specializations. The first one is Sustainable Finance. We have also Sustainable Global Supply Chain Management, Digital Marketing, and Sustainable Luxury and Creative Industries.
So it's a lot of different subjects. Agung, how would you describe the teaching method? What are the main differences, for instance, between the MSc and the Master in Management?
Yeah, that's actually a good question, Guillaume, because I also get this type of questions from students. So normally Master in Management or Master Grande École in French, it's for students who are just graduating from bachelor's. They are still constructing their professional project. They are also still seeking to confirm their professional endeavors. So that's what the Master Grande École Master in Management program is. And on the other hand, MSc is often, it's not uncommon to have students who have already worked 2 to 3 years, or they have already had some previous experiences in a specific industry, in a specific background. So they would like to pursue a specific specialization. So that's the main difference between Master Grande École Master in Management and the MSc program at Excelia.
Nicolas, can you tell us a few words about you? Where are you from and why did you decide to join Excelia?
Sure. Hi everyone, I'm Nicholas and I came from Indonesia. I choose Excelia because I am really interested in their offerings, in their courses, because they really have this kind of like fine balance between the courses on sustainability and even like up-to-date ones. And I chose it also because like in La Rochelle, they are more like calm and tranquil, and that's why I chose Excelia to pursue my further studies.
And can you maybe describe a little bit the different classes that you are following? What are the subjects that you study?
Well, I started as the MGE, the Master in Management program, and we had a lot of like generalist courses. We studied like finance, we studied strategy, we studied like supply chain, and right now I'm in my second year of the program. I'm taking the MSc in brand management right now, and we have more specialized courses, more in like marketing, in like data and so on.
So that's why you decided to choose the school. What is your favorite subject from all the different subjects that you have?
Well, it's kind of like difficult questions, but I would say in our first year we have a subject which is called like strategy. We studied like the theory, we work on study case, but that really the icing on the cake is we have the how we say it, like option to pursue a consultancy project as well, in which Excelia invites a real company to describe what kind of problems are they having and how can students like formulate the strategies for the company. So it's like a balance between like theory and practice as well, which is, I think, it's really cool.
Myriam, that's something really interesting in the different classes offered by Excelia. Is that for your students, it's important to have the theory, but to act concretely and to practice? That's the idea, Myriam?
Yes, we propose different internships during at the end of each year. And there is a final internship of 6 months in France or abroad.
So that's a lot of opportunities to work and to work during the study. Agung, there is the opportunity to do international mobility during these internships?
Yes, well, first of all, we need to redefine what do you mean by internships, because at Excelia we have several types of experiences that the student can do. You have the classical type of internships where you will be embedded inside a company, but we also have 2 different types of experiences, such as Climacité, which is special at Excelia, where the student can engage in one of NGO or NPOs all around the world for 2 to 3 months missions. We also have Humacité, which is humanitarian missions. In regards to your question on the international mobility, yes, in particular with the Master Grande École program, Master in Management, the students entering in the first year of master's degree have the options to do an exchange program to one of our different partner universities, and in the second year, if they prefer to, they have the opportunity to do a double degree. We have, if I'm not mistaken, 3 different double degree available in the Master in Management program abroad outside of France.
What are the different steps to apply at Excelia? How can we do concretely for the people watching us today who want to join the school? What can they do concretely?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of the application procedure, it's done online. So for students who are watching this session, you are invited to apply online, normally with a CV, your last academic transcripts, and as well you also have application fees to be paid online, which is 50 euros. And afterwards, what is really important for us after the review of the documents is the interview process, which will be held on pre-recorded ones, and the students will get the results within 1 week time of the interview.
What are the different prerequisites to apply to the MSCs or MG program?
Yeah, sure. Normally speaking, students who are applying in the Master 1, as the French people say, or the first year master's degree, as the English speakers say, is that they are required to have 180 ECTS or are currently proceeding to graduate their 3rd year or 4th year of bachelor's degree, depending on the country and depending on the academic level. Also, as soon as they apply, we do not ask for a specific English or a French diploma, depending on the track, but as soon as they got admitted in our program, they are required to give us the official language proficiency level. So for English would be TOEFL, TOEIC, IELTS, Cambridge, etc. And for French would be DELF, TCF, TEF, etc.
Is it important for the students when they apply to know concretely what they want to do after graduating, or is it possible to come and not be very clear about the future job or maybe even the future field we want to work in?
Well, that's actually a great question, Guillaume, because this refers to your first questions. It really depends which type of program you are trying to apply. If you are trying to apply in one of our MSc programs, for example, of course, I, as the International Academic Advisor at Excelia, would encourage students to really know which type of sector, which type of specializations, what are their professional projects and endeavors they would like to pursue in. That's the thing that I would recommend. But for example, in Master Grande École or the Master in Management program, it's not uncommon to find students who are in the bridge of deciding between 2 different sectors. For example, maybe they have had internships in marketing, they love marketing, but at the same time, they're also interested maybe in finance sector or in the management and strategy. So the role of Excelia here, if they're applying in Master Grande École, is really to shape and let them having the opportunities to explore the different subjects that they can do and professional projects at Excelia.
Nicolas, how did the application process go for you? How was it?
I do think the application process is really straightforward. And if I have any questions, I know who I should contact. And what I really appreciate is after I apply, the process is really seamless. I get directed into the platforms for housing, how to do my administrations, and so on.
Who did you contact concretely when you had questions? Who could help you with all the different administrative steps?
It's different when I need to contact people about like finance, for example. I need to contact other person, but mainly if I have any general questions about my studies, I contact Mr. Agung here.
And what advice would you give to an international student watching us today and who wishes to apply? What would you advise them?
Well, I think you can be like me. I came to France like mainly to learn the language because it's one of the most spoken languages in the world. But if you would like to, if you have time, I would recommend for people to at least have some basic of the French because it really opens many options, many opportunities. Either it's for like a student job or housing and so on. It really makes a whole different experience if you know like a little bit about the language, about the culture, and so on.
Let's talk now about the student life. Very important. How is your life when you study at Excelia? Agung, how do you help the students with all the different administrative steps? We know that when you have to go to another country, especially in France, you have all the procedure with the visa and stuff like that. How do you help them with that?
So first and foremost, the student life of international students at Excelia happens before arriving in France because, as you have mentioned, you have a lot of different administrative procedures. Indeed, Nicola was in contact with me because I'm mainly in charge of the European and students coming from Asia Pacific, but at Excelia itself we have in total 7 different offices all around the world. So our role, me and my colleagues here, is really to help students during their application process, and if they have any other questions. And also my colleague in the international welcoming department, they are also sending students, for example, for the housing platform, they can apply online, reserve their accommodation online, and we will help them my colleagues and I, until their arrival on campus. And as soon as they arrive on campus, there will be a specific person, designated person, in La Rochelle or Paris or in all of our campuses, where they can ask all the questions, because you have administrative before arriving in France, but also while you are in France, you have to continue maintain your status here. So in which that we are also helping in this case. And also, just to add, our students are also prepared before arriving in France in terms of the buddy program. So we try to match them with one of our students based on their nationalities, their country of origins, or maybe the continent, the languages as well. So they can feel at ease, at least during the first weeks of arriving in France.
Myriam, a very concrete and practical question. In terms of housing, how does it work? Do you offer on campus apartment for students?
Yes, we have several partner student residents, including Résidence Éclat and Résidence Crous, a few minutes from our campus in Paris. They have two main advantages for me. The first one is they are less expensive than accommodations in Paris Downtown, for example. However, they are just 10 minutes from Paris Downtown. And the second advantage are their services. Résidence Éclat, for example, provides e-sports room, sports room, cinema room, and many services dedicated to student life.
So that's a really, really good way to live in Paris. Talking about the student life, how is it like in Paris? Do you offer on campus maybe student associations?
Yes, of course, you can be involved in one or two associations with our student office, Bureau des étudiants. We propose also many activities. For example, we visit the iconic monument in Paris, the Senate, Assemblée Nationale, National Assembly, and we have a partnership with different theaters in Paris. Don't worry, you will never going to get bored in Paris. You have many activities to do. You have many shows, many concerts. You have le Parc des Princes with some of the best football players in the world. And you have a choice of many theaters. You have, for example, in Paris, 300 shows per week.
So that's a lot to do. You were talking about the famous footballer players. Some of them are leaving Paris. That's really sad. And Nicolas, did you have some fears before joining the school, before coming to France? Did you have some fears?
I do, because it is my first time studying abroad, and it's a whole another continent in France. Because I've never went out of my country to study before, and it's a whole another culture, whole another language, and those are my fears. And when I came here, I was bombarded with like a lot of administrative processes, and so that's it of my fears when I first came to France.
And how would you describe your experience integrating in France? How did you overcome your fears?
Well, I had many fears before, but I lived in residence, which I found on the student platform in Excelia, and there I live with fellow students as well, and I think it really helps me integrate, because I get to speak with other people, to learn about the language, the culture, and so on. And added with the language courses which we have in Excelia, the French ones, I think it really fast-tracked my process of integration in France.
There is a question, Agung, that the students, the international students have often. It's a question of the fees and the different helps that can exist in the school to finance and to pay for the studies. What are the different means that you have to help students finance the tuition fees?
Yeah, sure. So generally speaking, students who are studying at Excelia, in general, they are the means of financing it's personal or family-wise, but at Excelia we also have Bourse d'Excellence or Excellence Scholarship. It's dedicated for students who would like to study in English in one of our campuses, especially in Paris, in one of our English programs. So if you are one of the interesting students with very high scores and you are quite interesting outside of the campus, feel free to connect with me and my colleagues in the International Academic academic advisor at Excelia, because it's quite interesting with depending on your profile, and if you get accepted, it could surely help on your study at Excelia. In addition to that, you can also maybe apply to the normal type of scholarship, like for example the Campus France one, or depending on your country of origin. Yeah.
We're now going to talk about the professional world, because when you study, it's to find and to get a job after that. Myriam, you were talking about the long history of Excelia Business School. We can imagine that it helps the school today to have a network of partner companies.
Yes, of course, we have more than 1,200 partner companies in France and abroad.
And how do you support students to find the professional opportunities?
We offer several services from our talent centers that will help you to find your professional project and your different internships in France and abroad. And in each program, we have several courses dedicated to define the professional project of the students and personal development and professional development.
And how does it go after graduating? Is it easy for your students to integrate the professional world?
Yes, of course. Our 44,000 alumni are in 150 countries, different countries, and they work in many sectors, for example, industries, fintech, finance, corporate finance, market finance, human research management, purchasing, marketing, of course, international marketing, international business development, and communication in different countries.
And what advice would you give to the people watching us today and who don't really know yet what they want to do after graduating, in which kind of sectors or fields? How would you help them to find their career path?
And my advice is to talk with their family members, and you can talk with our current students or alumni. They can share with you their professional daily life, their experience. And we organize in our campus different events with our alumni. For example, we organize a monthly after work in Paris with them.
So it's a good way to connect and to network, because the network is really important. Another question really important for the students nowadays, is it possible to start a business, to be entrepreneur after completing their studies?
Yes, of course. We encourage all of the students to create their own company with our services from Excel Entrepreneur. And each program proposes some courses and major. For example, the Master in Management has proposed a major specialized in entrepreneurship in France and abroad.
Nicolas, to conclude, why would you recommend an international student to join Excelia?
To join Excelia, I would recommend it because here you don't only get experience of studying inside the class, you also get to experience like the student life and also the experience of volunteering, the internships and so on.
Agung, what final piece of advice would you give to an international student who wishes to join Excelia?
What advice I would give? It's a good question to end the interview, but yeah, I think the students should prepare, because we are now in the mid-February. If you are interested for September intake, you should apply right now. This is the right time. Of course, I would advise them also to connect with me and my colleagues if they would like to exchange about their academic projects, because from one student to another that might be different. As well, if you would like maybe to test in our website, we have a career quiz. So if the students would like to maybe to find out which type of jobs or sector that might be fit to their profile, that might be a good way to start with as well.
And you, Myriam, what would be your last advice for the people watching us today?
Yes, I was in your place 19 years ago now. I am an alumni from a student, and believe me, you will create many memories in our campus, and during your internships, you will find your best friend for the rest of your life. I'll stop now because I will cry from nostalgia, but believe me, you will live many unforgettable years here in our campus Excelia.
And that's really interesting, and that's a really good point. Create experience. That's what studies are made for. Thanks a lot to the three of you for having been with us. Thanks to you for having watched us. If you still have questions, or maybe you want to begin the different administrative steps to apply, you can visit the website of Excelia. See you soon on Campus France Live.